Hello guys, welcome to the 3D market commentary for today. Today is Friday, August 20th. Hopefully you guys have had a great trading week so far and ready for a good weekend. So 3D market commentary, for those that don't know what that is, if this is the first time you've ever looked at this, basically we send out an email every day to our members. Membership is free, by the way. And we send out an email to our members that has information on 5 major world markets, but we look at 3 separate elements per market, which is why we call it a 3D market commentary. We then do a video in the mornings for sort of 15-20 minutes to just expand on that, explain it a little bit, give you a bit more of the context to that data. Now, my name is Becky. My email address is there, becky@tradictive.com. There's also support@tradictive.com that you can use to get hold of us. And in a second, I will show you where else you can go to get questions answered. Now, before we do that, let's just make sure we cover the disclaimers. Of course, always important for a legal reason, of course, to make sure that the disclaimers are there and that you guys read them. And of course, important to understand that these types of videos are demonstrations and not necessarily indicative of the results you may receive. Okay, so let me show you. Let's bring it up here. There we are. This is tradewithufos.com/Becky. At this link, you can get yourself a free Trade with UFOs membership at the top there. And then you can come down here and ask questions in this public area. Now, once you ask questions in this public area, other people see the questions, but also other people see the answers. So it may be, if you scroll down a little bit, that somebody's already posted a question that you have, and therefore you already have the answer. If not, you're doing somebody else that favour to put it on that area for everybody to see. You can also, from this link, book one-on-one coaching with me if you'd like to. Okay, so 3D market commentary. Let's bring up the email that we send out, which looks like that, and it's obviously correlated to market data, so let's look at that as well. Okay, so the 3 separate elements that we look at for each of the 5 markets. First things first, market climate. Upcoming market direction, meaning where do we have probabilities? Do we have probabilities upwards? Do we have probabilities downwards? Or do we have probability nowhere? And therefore, should we buy, should we sell, or should we do nothing? That's what we need to know before we do anything else when we trade, right? What should I be doing? Buying, selling, or moving on? Now, with AutoClimate, which is this app that we use here, that helps us to answer that question very, very easily. Ignore the lines and just focus on the dots. Those dots tell us what we need to know. If it's a thick blue dot, that tells us probability is upwards, we should look to buy. If it's a thick red dot, that tells us probability is downwards, we should look to sell. If it's a thin dot of either colour, that tells us not enough probability, move on, change market, change time frame. No point trading something if you don't at least have probabilities one way or the other. So we use AutoClimate. It's a free app and you can use it on 3 separate platforms. So on most of the platforms that you can get it on, it's completely free. So you can use that to help you with that question. Then we want to know, if we're going to buy, where are we going to buy? If we're going to sell, where are we going to sell? Where are we going to be placing our orders? If we're going to be buying, we want to buy where there's loads of other buyers, because the only way price can go up is if there's more buyers than sellers. And so the more buyers there are, the more likely it is to beat the sellers and push price upwards. So we want to know where those buy orders are. This is why, again, we use technology to help us. These UFOs, we call them UFOs, stands for unfilled orders. These green ones show us where buyers are, and even tells us on the right hand side where the prices are that are relevant to those areas. So between these prices is where we have buyers. We want to know that so we can buy with them and increase our probability that we're right. When we're selling, we want to know where the sellers are. So we look at our sell UFOs, these red UFOs. Those show us where sellers are likely to be. So again, we want to know where they are if we're going to sell, because they're more likely to push price downwards. So we'll look at that. And then the third thing we want to look at is market volatility. How quickly are these markets moving up or down within given periods of time? So we'll look at that per market and we will go through them one by one. Now, each of these markets, we're looking at a daily chart. Now, of course, different things happen on different time frames. So what happens on the daily charts might not necessarily be true of what's happening on other time frames, but this is what we're looking at, is daily charts. Now, the first market we're going to look at is the S&P 500, and we're going to look at the ES. For each of these markets, we're looking at the futures contracts that represent them. because that gives us a decent idea of what's going on by looking at the futures for them. So we're looking at the ES here. Essentially, we're looking at a representation of US stocks. So with that, we have a confirmed downwards climate, thick red dot, probability to the downside. Usually, this market would go down for 3 candles, and it's on candle number 2 to the downside. So we've still got room to continue to move down based on what usually happens. Now, in terms of orders, we have sell orders here between 44.76.50 to 44.11.75. And we have buy orders quite a way down here at 41.23 to 40.55.50. So overall probability downwards. We've got the climate to the downside, we've got sellers above us, and we've got buyers quite a way below us. So there's room for us to move down, basically. Overall probability down for the S&P. When it comes to volatility, we'd expect in a year movement up or down of 22.72%, which in a day is up or down of 62.78 points. In a week, up or down of 138.21 points, and in a month, up or down of 287.7 points. And again, that's movement up or down. Now, bearing in mind, we are talking about what is probable, not what is definite. We can never be 100% sure as to what's going to happen in the markets. If we did, that would be amazing, right? But nobody can be 100% sure as to what's going to happen. Everything is about probabilities and lining statistics on our side. That's why we want to know and we want to use this technology to see what's more probable. Now, we still manage our risk in case we're wrong, because we still could be wrong, and we may even look at even extra variables to increase our probability rating. So what we're going through today, and what we always go through in our sessions, is about what is probable, not what is definite. Okay, moving on to the next market, which is going to be crude oil. In the meantime, it says there about looking to educate yourself. There are many different courses that we do in futures, stocks, forex, backtesting, trading plans, psychology. Most of these courses as well come with 3 months complimentary access to the apps. AutoClimate is a free app on most platforms. You can use it on anyway. AutoUFOs, you can subscribe to directly. Again, different prices on different platforms, but it is a paid for app. You can subscribe directly to it. You don't need to do a course in order to get the UFOs. However, a lot of times it actually works out cheaper to do the course, get 3 months access to the UFOs, and do it like that rather than subscribe directly to them. But up to you, however you do that. So with crude oil, we have confirmed downwards climate, thick red dot, probability downwards. Usually the market goes down for 7 candles. I'm rounding that up. And we're on candle number 6. So again, we are coming to the end of the move to the downside, but we do still have room for it to continue to move down. Now, based on orders, we have sell orders here at 67.23 to 64.17. And we have buy orders here at 60.77 to 58.73. Now, what's great about the UFOs, which is why we use them, is that they give us an idea of where price is likely to turn. So these buy orders here that I'm pointing at already pushed price up at this point. They've already worked to push price up. And it's only just on its way back. So wouldn't we like to know that that's where price is most likely to go up from? And that's why we use these. Now, we have sell orders above us, which are pushing price down. We've still got a little way to go before we hit the buy orders, and we've got climate to the downside. So overall, probability down there for oil. Now, in terms of volatility, in 1 year, we'd expect movement up or down in oil of 40.98%. In a day, that's 1.63 points. In a week, 3.6 points, up or down. And in 1 month, 7.49 points, up or down. So that's crude oil. Okay, moving on to the next market, which is gold. Now, it says here about coaching and support. We do a bunch of coaching and support for free online, so you can join us in sessions on YouTube, Facebook, many free platforms. You can also email us and get questions and answers, of course, for free as well. And we do also have a closed coaching community where those that are our members get access to more of our time in closed environments. So you can check that out if you'd like. Otherwise, like I said, we do a lot for free anyway. So with gold, we have an unconfirmed climate. It doesn't matter the color, it's a thin dot. That tells us not enough probability either way, so do nothing. Change timeframes, change market. If there's not enough probability one way or the other, it would be a guess to pick one. We don't guess when we trade. We want stats on our side. We want probability on our side. Now, not surprising that the climate doesn't know what it's doing, because we do have sell orders very close by, 1835.9 to 1799.7. And we have buy orders close by at 1759.6 to 1742.6. So we have price sort of in between these two stacks of orders. We've got buyers and sellers fighting each other at the moment. Tends to be, at least for me anyway, if there's a fight going on, I'll try and keep out of it, see who wins. So if there are buyers and sellers fighting at the moment, again, it would be a guess to pick who's going to win. I'd rather keep out of it until we have probabilities one way or the other. So that's gold. Oh, I didn't do volatility. So with gold, we would expect volatility in 1 year of 15.91%. which is in a day movement up or down of 17.87 points, in a week 39.35 points up or down, and in 1 month up or down of 81.91 points up or down for gold. Okay, next market is the US dollar. Now the US dollar is responsible for about 80% of transactions worldwide daily. Whether you trade it or not, be aware of it. It will impact most other markets that you trade or could be trading. So with the US dollar, we have a confirmed upwards climate, a thick blue dot, probability there to the upside. Usually this market would go up for 5 candles and we're on candle number 3. So we do still have room for it to continue to move up based on what usually happens. Now we have buy orders beneath us here at 93.275 to 92.495 even. And we have sell orders slightly higher up at 95.375 to 94.775. So overall, probability upwards with the climate, buy orders closer to us putting price up, and sell orders quite far away. So we have probability of a continuous move up based on those things. Now in terms of volatility, we'd expect that in 1 year that the US dollar would go up or down of 5.36%, which is 0.32 points up or down in a day, 0.7 points up or down in a week, and 1.45 points up or down in 1 month. Okay, last market, which is going to be backed Bitcoin. Now, backed Bitcoin is not as old as the others, so we don't have as much data on it, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. Now, it says here, interested but have questions, you can self-schedule a clarification call. Speak to us about the apps, the courses, the coaching, different programs and memberships, what's best for you, if anything. Chat it through with one of our experts and see what's going to be helpful for you if you are a little bit confused. So with Bitcoin, we have a confirmed upwards climate. We can see that here because we have a thick blue dot. However, we don't know how long this market usually goes up for. We don't know if this is normal or not. It's not been around long enough for us to know, based on data, what usually happens and what doesn't usually happen. It just hasn't been around long enough. So bear that in mind, but we do still have probability upwards for the time being with Bitcoin. We also have new buy orders that appeared overnight, would have appeared this morning. So at 47,167.5 to 43,945. Now we also have sell orders just above us. They're literally overlapping. So we've got sellers and buyers sort of interlocked at the moment. The sellers are from 51,782.5 to 46,807.5. So again, there's a fight going on. If you had to call it, overall probability is upwards because of the climate. So you've got buyers and sellers, but you've also got more buyers from the climate. So overall probability up. For me though, they're too close to each other. I wouldn't want to be getting involved here because we've got sellers that have pushed price down a couple of times already. And we've got buyers that are starting to push price up. It's just too close to call, I would say. If you had to call it one way, it would be up. But again, to me, not enough. So with Bitcoin, in terms of volatility, we'd expect movement up or down in 1 year of 136.59%, which means in a day, up or down of 4,070.94, in a week, up or down of 8,961.76, and in 1 month, up or down of 18,655.38. So that is Bitcoin. That's the last of our markets. We've now looked at 5 separate markets, looked at the climate on them, where's the probability up or down or nowhere. We've looked at the buy and sell UFOs, where do we have buyers and sellers that could push price in their relative directions, and we've looked at volatility, how quickly do we expect them to move. Now, last thing to look at before we round up is the weekly economic calendar. We get it from the FX Street economic calendar. We filter by high impact news so that we can see scheduled reports that could create volatility in the markets. So today being Friday, we would have Canadian dollar or Canadian markets may see a little bit of movement around about 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. It might not have any impact, but again, it gives us an idea beforehand where we might see volatility in the markets based on big news reports. So if you have any questions, of course, you can email us, you can contact us through support@tradictive.com, you can contact me at becky@tradictive.com, you can also go to tradewithufos.com/Becky, get yourself a free membership here, and then come down, ask a question in a public space so I can answer it there, other people see the answer. So I will leave you guys to it. Enjoy our sessions for the rest of the week, and I will see you. I think I must be on tomorrow with a sharpening session, so I'll see you then. And I'll see you on Monday morning as well for the market commentary. So I'll see you guys next time. Have a great weekend. Have a great end to your trading week, and see you soon.